Hey guys, Ryan from CubeRSZ here, and I'm going to show you my Skyscraper method for 5x5. This method is kind of like an enhanced CFOP in the same way that Lewis method is an enhanced Roux method for 4x4. If you don't know of the Lewis method, I encourage you to look it up. It's very fascinating, and I think it's really cool. So I initially was inspired to make this method by a Colorful Pockets video, where Andrew was discussing how he was trying to make a layer-by-layer method for 5x5, but he got stuck at the second layer. I mean, he said he wasn't stuck because he could have just used commutators, but who wants to use commutators for that many times? So, like the contrarian I am, I was like, that's a good idea for something for me to try to do. So, I started it out on the 4x4. F2L was pretty standard, and as was the third layer. When I got to the last layer, I had to sort of experiment with different algorithms, and then I eventually produced a decent-sized alg set. When I moved to the 5x5, I ran into a few difficulties. The first difficulty I ran into was I had to do F3L as opposed to F2L because doing two middle layer steps would have been way too much work and way too much time. And then I also had to add a whole new algorithm set to finish the pieces that weren't on the 4x4. I figured out some slight modifications to some 3x3 algorithms, and I found some good algorithms for parities online, and I finally had a somewhat viable method. Now, as I showed this to people, I got mixed reactions. All of them were under the umbrella of, I've never seen anyone do it that way. But some of them were, why would you even choose to do it that way? Others were like, cool idea, let's just see how it develops. And then there were some people who were like, that is really cool, you should totally publish it. So I decided to work on this video. But before I decided to upload it, I decided I would check YouTube, see if there were any 5x5 layer-by-layer method, but they were all cringy VCube, poorly made, all in one take, so I didn't think I had anything to worry about. With this method, my 5x5 average is around 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and my best time is 2:45, and my best average of 5 is 3:11. For 4x4, I average right around 2 minutes, and my best is 1:25, and my best average of 5 is 1:48. The alg set I currently have for 5x5 has around 14 algorithms, and the 4x4 set has 9, around there. To start this method, you get one center. I always use white, because white catches my eye better than any other color. After this, you get what I like to call the diamond. These two steps in conjunction form the cross on a 3x3. Notice that there is a solid block from the edges to the centers. This is very important as it eliminates need for commutators later. The next step of this method is finishing the F3L cross. This step is done intuitively, but it can be a little bit hard to get your head around it. This is a unique step to Skyscraper and is not in CFOP. However, if I had to place it in a CFOP, I would consider it as a part of the cross. The final step of F3L is the F3L corner triplets. This is done using basic F2L and then an algorithm to finish it off by getting it with the last edge. This isn't too difficult and is analogous to F2L on the 3x3. The fourth layer is a new step to Skyscraper, but it can be compared to the middle layer in the beginner's method. This involves finishing all the centers and putting in the last 4 edges. The centers are done using modified soon algorithms, and the edges are done using a modified edge insertion algorithm for the middle layer of beginner's method. This step relies on quick thinking and opportunity taking. Now it is time for the last layer, which is split up into 3 steps. Pairing, where you pair all the wing edges with their partners, tripling, where you pair the remaining pieces with their edges, and OLL and PLL, or standard 3x3 last layer. The way the method works on 4x4 is slightly easier. You get the first center, and then you only get F2L. You use the same cross-first principle for F2L, and the corner F2L on 4x4 is just like 3x3 F2L. When you get to the third layer, you use the 5x5 fourth layer method, and when last layer rolls around, all you have to worry about is pairing, because there's no third edge to the triple. However, you do have to worry about OLL and PLL parity when you're doing it on the 4x4. So that is the entirety of the Skyscraper method. The reason I like using this method is because it removes the monotony of reduction and adds a layer of variety to the solve. This is part 1 of a 5-part tutorial explaining the method, so the easiest way to make sure you don't miss part 2 is to subscribe. Part 2 will be on wrapping your head around F3L, so be sure to watch out for that. But that's it. This is Ryan, signing off.